Hi there, welcome to the second week of Peachtober. If you missed the first week, I will leave a link just here and down below so you can check that out. There's a lot of cool ideas for this week and I'm really excited to put them together, so let's get started. Welcome to the fourth day of Peachtober. I'm going on to prompt 8 now, and the prompt is dream. Unfortunately, this day is my weakest day. I had a lot of personal stuff going on this day, and it really affected the art that I created. But I'm really hoping that you'll stick with me till the end, because there are some other really cool ideas. This day just was not it for me. For dream, I thought of a teddy bear. I also thought of nighttime and a bedroom, but honestly, I struggled to come up with any kind of good ideas for this one. So in the end, I did a teddy bear dreaming of being an artist. I thought it could be really cute, and I wanted to use fine liner and just drop paint on, and I really like this style of creating. It's a really fun way. I know it's like a kind of childish look, the way that it's painted, but there's something really fun about doing bold lines and just dropping paint on top. I've done it quite a few times before. It's really fun. If you haven't tried it, you definitely should. It's really fun, and I was able to use a lot of different colours. I do quite like how it turned out, in all fairness. I just don't think the idea was strong to begin with. The idea for blue changed quite a lot because at the beginning I wanted to use masking fluid, which I found out I couldn't on this paper because it's handmade and it rips. So I then ended up using an oil pastel, which I was hoping would form as a resist and do like what masking fluid would do, but you can see that I did a lot of fish around the outside and they all just completely disappeared. Like, it formed a resist kind of on the whale, mostly because I just went around it. It did not form a resist on any of the other fish. It didn't work. The biggest part of this idea was the fact that I was going to do negative space, and then I kind of remembered after I did the first layer that negative space doesn't really mean much in ink because it's not like watercolour, it doesn't look the same. And because it didn't form a resist to begin with, I wasn't able to find the fish and go around them, so this one didn't really go to plan at all. I also think the whale is a little bit too short, and I'd like to say that at least I had fun with this piece, but honestly I didn't. Going into the 5th day now, I was definitely in a much better headspace for this one, and the prompt is citrus. So I decided to do a cute little citrus boy sitting on a lemon. This is a lot more subtle than what I was aiming for. I was kind of hoping that the colours would be different enough from each other, but then I also quite like that it does almost blend together. But I will say it's hard to make out a lot of the features on the citrus boy. Because the inks are so vibrant, when I was using them at mass tone like this without any water mixed in, they just didn't really add depth because they're just not very dark colours. I don't know exactly how to explain it, but I then reached for my colour pencils, and for starters, I absolutely love this neon green Caran Luminance colour, and if you haven't got it, you should definitely consider getting it for a birthday or something because it's a really lovely shade. I don't think I was able to create very much distinction, but in a way I do quite like how the entire piece blends together completely. I'm using a colour pencil and white gel pen to try and make the skin also look like the inside of a lemon. I don't know if I really achieved that, but I think it's a cute concept. The prompt for number 11 is pencil. So what did I think of? I thought of ants. I honestly thought of ants scavenging a pencil that they've just found and carrying it back to their ant hills. That's what I thought of, and that's what I went with. I decided to do one crazy wet on wet layer, and you can see it's pretty crazy. It's spread quite a lot, and the ants definitely look very odd and suspicious at this stage. You can't tell at all what they are. So I got my Caran dache out and I tried to add some kind of line work to them. But honestly, this concept is kind of crazy, and the way that I executed it is kind of crazy too. I think it's a really unique style though, using the ink in such a flowy, messy way, and then just randomly adding pastels on top. I don't know how I came up with this idea, but I think I created virtually all of it on the spot, and sometimes the best, most crazy ideas are created this way. I'm starting the next day with the prompt nest, and this one has a little bit of a backstory because I have actually done nest before a year ago for Inktober, and I'll leave the video for that one down below if you're interested. This is how it turned out. I decided to paint a cute little baby that's asleep in a nest, kind of like those newborn baby photo shoots. That's what I had in mind. And since this one is 1 year later, I decided to redraw that, making the baby look slightly older. I just thought that would be a really cute idea, and I love the fact that the black and white ink really contrasts all the other pieces I did for Peachtober. I do like that. Don't get me wrong, I was definitely getting a little bit bored of it by the time I'd finished Inktober, but it was a nice change. I'm really happy with how the face went for this one. I think the baby's face looks really cute, and I do think the face is a huge improvement to the one that I did last year. Last year I used wet on dry for the face, and this time I used the wet on wet technique, and I think that really helped create a smoother blend in the face. The body I kind of gave up with fairly quickly. I was merging a few reference photos together, and the arms and legs, I mean, I've never done babies' hands or feet before, so it was really difficult, and the angle, the perspective was also super difficult, so I just decided to kind of focus on the face and leave the rest of the body be and hope it wouldn't be too obvious. Something that I've been really loving so far for Peachtober is using limited colour palettes. Because I only have a yellow, pink, blue and green, I don't have a warm and a cool tone of each, and I feel like a lot of the pieces could easily look very similar because I'm literally using the exact same colours for all of them. And I think one way to conquer that and make all of the pieces look slightly different is to use limited colour palettes. So for this one I decided to use pink and blue, and a lot of it actually blended into purple instead. This one didn't really go to plan. It blended a lot more than what I was aiming for, so I ended up using my Caran dache neocolors, and I knew I wanted to make it abstract in some way, but this wasn't how I was planning to make it a little bit abstract. Still, I think this one is really growing on me. The more I look at it, the more I like it, but at the time that I did it, I was not a fan. I don't think it really looks like water, but I do think the ship is quite cute. I was kind of basing it off a couple of sort of pirate ships that I saw that looked really cool, and then I ended up deciding to just colour a lot of it in, and I was also completely winging it at this point, so I used the black ink to try and define some of those waves a little bit. One tip that I did learn whilst I was doing this was to hold my hand up whilst I'm doing those kind of lines, because if I'm holding my wrist above the paper, I'm less likely to smudge everything, which is probably a super simple tip that everyone knows, but I learned it and I didn't smudge it. Old me would have smudged that pirate ship 100%. The final prompt is garden, and I don't know about you, but the first thing that I thought of was a gnome. It was pretty much the only thing that I thought of. I thought of a gnome holding a shovel, and that was it. That was all. And then I decided to actually keep it really simple, so I used my himi jelly gouache. I just did flat, basic colours really. I was aiming for a bit of a soft illustrative kind of style. Nothing super realistic, just a nice fun piece, and honestly I really love how this one turned out. This day pretty much changed things for me, and I opened myself up to using gouache with these inks, and I end up using this gouache and ink combo for pretty much every single piece following this. So if you're interested in seeing more pieces like this, more pieces with gouache, then that's what's coming up in week 3 and 4. I think this gnome is super cute. It looks a little bit Christmassy because I have a Christmas gnome in my house that I loosely based this off, and I couldn't remember what actual gnomes look like, so here's the Christmas gnome. That's week 2 done. Let me know down below which one was your favourite. I would love if you could like and subscribe so you don't miss week 3, and I'll see you on Sunday for another spooky season video. Bye bye.